Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you being here for the latest office hours for a good cause. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. Let us know your organization, where you're from. I'll get us started there. I am Ronald Pruitt. I'm the president and founder of For a Good Cause. I appreciate you taking a little bit of your day to come learn about what we've got going on here. If you're unfamiliar with For a Good Cause, we are a fundraising platform specifically for small to mid-sized nonprofits. We specifically try to help them build long-lasting support. We'll talk about some of our high-performing donation forms today. I'll drop a little link here to For a Good Cause. If you want to check us out, feel free to click that, bookmark our site, come back and check us out later. If you are unfamiliar with our office hours sessions, we try to just give you a little behind the scenes, let you know what we're working on. We might drill into a particular feature, kind of go deep on something in the product. Today, we're going to be focused on kind of an on-site donation experience and what we're working on there, a preview of something that's coming from us. This session will be recorded. I typically get that out the next day after the session. So hopefully I'll be able to get that out to you tomorrow. So if you have to step away, no worries. Kim, good for you to be here. Thank you. Diana, Ellen, Meg, thanks for everybody for being here. Let's get going. There's lots of types of pages that you can build in For a Good Cause. Donation pages, obviously, to take donations. And that's where we're going to spend most of our time today. You can also build event pages that are there to sell products, sell tickets, sponsorships, and such. You also can build landing pages that allow you to promote your events and also delve a little deeper into other types of campaigns like peer-to-peer fundraising and crowdfunding. But our focus, as I mentioned, today is we're going to be talking about donation pages and really a new way that you can present them for your donors. So as any of our clients in the chat here know, we've had standalone donation pages for many years. Over the 25 plus years of myself helping nonprofits, I have built thousands of donation pages and donation forms in my day. And it's very easy for you to build a standalone donation page on For a Good Cause that reflects your brand and your message and such. And then you just link to it. You link to it from your website, from emails you send out, social media postings. We've had this for many years. And as people know, as our clients know, hopefully, and especially if you came to our last office hour session when we shared some statistics, these pages have performed really, really well for our clients. You have the ability with For a Good Cause to get more visitors to your donation forms turning into donors, and you have the ability to get higher gift sizes. On the conversion front, our average converting visitor to donor hitting that page is 27%. That's almost 2.5 times more than the industry benchmark of only 11%. So across the industry, typically only 11 donors out of 100 are going to actually complete that donation form, actually complete the gift. It's a lot of abandonment that goes on in online giving. Our pages are converting almost 2.5 times better than that. 50% of the campaigns on For a Good Cause are getting almost a 50% conversion rate. And if you've been following the newsletter lately from us, I've been sharing campaigns that are having much greater success than that. I think last month I shared an example from a group called Across the Nations that on their recent campaign had a 75% conversion rate. So these pages are converting more of those visitors into donors. As I mentioned, we also have higher gift sizes, double the national benchmarks for one-time donations and recurring donations, which is one of our specialties. These industry benchmarks come from the M&R benchmark study that comes out every year. So these pages are really working well for our clients, helping you earn more per donor and per donation. And this is really because we put, the 25 years plus of best practices into these. If you want to explore more on why these pages are working really well, I've got a couple of resources for you. First, we have a deep dive article that we just put on the blog, Why Donors Abandon Your Nonprofit's Donation Page and How to Fix It. So I'm going to share a link to that. You can bookmark this and read this later. It really dives into the things that really cause the abandonment, like confusion and friction and distraction, and how you can fix it. And also on that article, I should mention there is a conversion calculator that we've just started to drop various places on the site, where you have the ability to see what would an extra bump in a conversion rate mean for the revenue that's being brought into your organization. What would it mean to go from the typical 11% to 27%? I also want to share our donation page audit checklist. This is actually the list of the almost 100 best practices that we put into our pages. I'm going to put that over on the right. You'll see that under handouts. And by the way, as I go through all this, if you have questions about anything that I'm talking about, you can put your questions in the chat. If I spot them, I'll hit them as we go. If not, we'll get them at the end. This checklist, you can use this to audit what you currently have on your donation page. Audit your current donation form. It kind of breaks down 13 kind of broad characteristics of a high performing page, and then the exact things that you need on your donation form to match and fulfill that characteristic. If you have everything that's in here, then you have an opportunity to reach the highest of conversion rates and the highest of gift sizes. Okay, now, all of that said, these pages are working really well. They convert well. You're raising more money than you would with kind of the generic, donation forms or other platforms out there. One of the things that we've heard from time to time is, I wish our donation form felt more like a part of our website. You want to keep the donor there. You want them, when they finish donating, to still be there on your site. And one of the things that we do at For Good Cause is listen to our clients and try to deliver on the things that they think they need and that they want to improve their fundraising. So we're building it. And this is what today's kind of session is all about, to preview that and to talk about some of the features, to get your feedback and to kind of talk through what we're working on and when hopefully it will be available for you. Now, if we're thinking about building a kind of an embedded experience, something that's a part of your website, there's different ways that we can do that. But what we want to make sure that we do is we want to build it the right way. We want to do it in a way that still brings in all the best practices and high conversion rates and all that good stuff that we have from the standalone pages. We want to do it in a way that gives you, your donors, that embedded experience, that they're still there as a part of your website, but also make sure that the pages work and convert really well. So what we want to avoid is kind of the wrong way of doing this. And this little screenshot here on this slide, this is the donation form from a college, Allen Hancock College. And I hate to call them out, but I do use this example from time to time. This is really the wrong way to do an embedded experience. And you'll see this quite a bit on nonprofit sites, all across the country. They will take an embedded form. They will take a form. In this case, this college is using a form from Blackbaud. They'll slap it in a page somewhere in the site. A lot of times it's typically hidden somewhere and it's difficult to find. So it's just slapping it in a page. And this breaks quite a few of the best practices that you'll see when you go through the donation page checklist. But one of the big main characteristics that it violates is you want your donation form to be isolated. One of the great things about our standalone pages is there are absolutely no distractions for the donor. There's no shiny links anywhere that they're going to take them away from that page. They are wholly focused on completing the gift. That is not the case with this type of setup. So Allen Hancock College has a main header navigation, a subheader navigation, a sidebar navigation, and all the links in the footer. I had AI kind of analyze this page. There are over 209 hyperlinks on this page that are going to take the donor away from the donation form. Your goal with the donation form is to get conversions, is to get them to complete the form, not to distract them with something else on your website. If they're wholly focused and they complete the form, then you have their money, you have their information, and you can market back to them in many different ways. You can then, they're in your database, you can get them to come to your events, be volunteers, be board members, do all the things that you want them to do. But the first thing that we want them to do is actually fill out the form and complete the donation. So we think this is the wrong way. You're breaking too many of the best practices. What we want to do is do it the right way. And for us, that's an embedded pop-up donation form. Something that they still click from your website. It launches a pop-up modal. It's basically an iframe that's going to pull in your campaign that you've already configured on For a Good Cause and let them give right then and there in that modal that sits right above your website. When they're done, they click X and they're back on your site. It will keep all the best practices. You're basically getting the exact same checkout process. It just happens to be in this pop-up modal. So you'll get this all the same best practices coming into this. It will be completely isolated because it sits above your website, above anything that they can click on. Their focus is to complete the gift. Let's actually let's kind of take a look at a few things. I'm going to just kind of walk you through kind of some mock-ups and some initial kind of building that and things that we've been working on here. So let me share my screen. Let's start with a comparison just to so that we see kind of where we are now and kind of how a similar thing might look. So one of our clients is Big Brothers Big Sisters Lone Star. They're in Dallas and parts of East Texas. And we're sitting on their website right now, and they have many donate buttons on their website from many places, including here in their navigation. And when I click that, currently it will pop a second tab next to the website, and this will display their standalone donation page that reflects their brand, their messaging, gives their donors a simple, easy, one-step giving process to make that gift. Again, all the best practices are built into this. If they were to move to this new model, this is a mock-up. We're not actually on their site anymore, but this is just a kind of a graphical mock-up. So you would, as a donor, click the donate button, and that would pop a modal. The website is still there in the background. And then you get the exact same donation form here in the modal. You're able to make your gift. The concept of this is, it's very simple. We're not asking you to make any additional configurations in For Good Cause on the modal version, pop-up version, or the standalone version. You are going to configure your campaign and your donation page exactly as you have before, with all the customizations that are available to you, from images to the headline to the appeal to customizing the form fields, the options you want on and off, customizing the thank you message that goes out. All of this stuff will remain in place. We're not asking you to make any additional configurations of the form itself just because you want to display it in a different manner. So it's going to be very easy to you're just going to continue to do what you are doing before, but you will now have another option of how you display this. You will have the option to send the donor to the standalone page, or allow them to click a button or a link on your site to be able to launch the modal. And I'll talk about kind of when you might use one versus the other. Now, we want to make it easy for you to, have buttons that are going to be able to launch the modal. So let's look at a little mock-up of kind of where we're going on the back end of For Good Cause. So we will have a new link that will be under campaigns. Campaigns will stay the same. Again, you are just going to build your campaigns and your pages as you have. And for folks that don't know, not familiar with For Good Cause, you can build as many campaigns and pages as you want. So you can get very segmented, obviously. And I imagine as we roll this out, you may want to have some campaigns that are you kind of focused heavily on the modal concept, and those might be the ones that you put on your site. But we are going to add a section that allows you to build donate buttons that you can, with one line of code, drop anywhere on your website that will generate the button, and that button will be tied to the campaign in For Good Cause, the donation page in For Good Cause. And then that's what will be pulled into the modal when the donor creates that button. This is going to be very simple. You will have the ability to build as many buttons as you want. You can tie them to any campaign that has a donation page. You're just going to click new button. You have the ability to choose what campaign am I tying this button to. You can choose what label that you want on the button. The button can be any color that you choose. We'll have a color picker here. You also can drop in the hex code, and you'll have the ability to build a small version, medium, or large version of the button. And it could be rectangular, or you can round the corners of that button as well. Very simple and straightforward. Once you feel like you have it the way that you want it, click Create Button, and then you'll be presented with your code, your embed code that you will drop onto your website. Simple, simple, simple. When you come back to this list, if you need to copy your code again, you'll have the opportunity. You can always grab that at any point, and you'll be able to deactivate buttons as needed. I should note, this is going to make it easy for you to build the button, drop in the code. It's going to work. It's going to pull in that campaign. We will also have ways that you can launch the pop-up modal from a button you create, from a link you create on your website. The code will be a little bit different than if you're using one of our buttons, but you will have the ability to do that. We will have a full, help guide on that will instruct you on how to do that. There's a question about the mock-up from a mobile view. Yep, I'm gonna actually show that. Yeah, this pop-up will adjust itself to whatever size the browser is. And going forward, and this is something that we'll be looking for feedback from our clients. We're going to be adding this section for you to be able to build these donation buttons and place them on your website, but it's also could be an opportunity down the road for us really to build lots of different types of widgets for you that you would put on your website. So we would love some feedback, after this gets out there. What else besides donate buttons would you be looking for? What inside for a good cause as a part of your campaigns would you love to be able to display as a widget on your site? Could it be a thermometer? Could it be a donor roll? Could it be you're giving tiers out of a campaign or something like that? Think about what that might be. This is where we're going to start. It's the most logical thing for you to be able to drop that button on your site and know the donor's going to click that, and that's going to pop that particular campaign. Let's actually make a gift, run through a transaction, and I'll show the mobile view as well. For those that read our posts and follow me on social and things like that, you know that we have a little fictional charity that we like to play with here, the Bruce Wayne Bat Sanctuary. Bruce decided that he needed to form this charity to save the bats in Gotham. The sanctuary will take in injured bats and then heal them and release them to the wild. So I put together just a little mock-up of perhaps a page on the Bruce Wayne Bat Sanctuary website, just a page where we are making the call for a gift. We want people to give to the bats here. And we've got multiple donate buttons that I put on this page. And this is an example of, putting the link behind your own button that you might build. And either button can launch the modal. So when I click this is going to launch the pop-up here and load this campaign from our demo server here. You can kind of see, like, when you think about this versus the standalone page, all we're really doing is we're kind of shrinking it horizontally. And on desktop, this would be about the size here. If I go down to mobile, mobile's going to kind of take the full width, but you're still going to have the X there. It's still going to be seen as, a modal on top of your website, but it'll adjust itself no matter the size of the browser, just like the standalone pages do. We get about 60% of the traffic to our website is from a mobile device. So we want to make sure that it works there. So the things that when you think about getting sort of that iPad size on a desktop, you can still have the banner image. You certainly don't have to have a banner image. You could just kind of start with the appeal and have the form. It's really kind of up to you. We will put the secure donation up top just to give it kind of an anchor up there, and that'll be in the same row there where the X is, where you can X out of this, hopefully after you're done making the gift. So you'll still have the headline, the appeal, the donation form. We're going to make a gift here. I'm going to make a monthly gift. You can still have your impact statements at every level. Suggested giving levels for both monthly and one time. Again, all the things that you're used to with the standalone page is all going to be available to you here. We'll check the roundup to help offset processing fees for those not familiar with For Good Cause. This is something that we do not have a per transaction platform fee. So when donors hit this donor tip, 100% of that goes to your nonprofit, does not go to us. I've hidden a few things on here. I've tried to think about, if I was going to really try to kind of limit the amount of fields and things like that, if I start to think about how can I shrink my form, I've taken tribute giving off of here. That's one thing that's missing that, most of our clients do. I've left most of the payment methods here. I'm going to choose Google Pay. I've also, if you were here at our last office hours, we talked about how you can limit the amount of donor information that you collect. You can strip away physical address on this. I've done that here just to kind of shorten this a little bit more, to kind of make it more of a true kind of digital donation. So plug in my information there. We still have the security logos, kind of help and support. They can reach out to you. There may be some refinements that we do to this interface before we finalize everything, but this is the basics of how it will work, and it's super simple. Unlike a lot of kind of embedded workflows now, donation flows now with other platforms, and how you might, a lot of clients are kind of building them, on your own or having a web developer do it. This is a simple one-step process. There's so many embeds that you have to click through 4 or 5 steps to get to the end of the donation. You're not sure when you're going to get there. This is just a simple, easy one-step giving process, just like with the standalone pages. I'm going to check out with Google Pay here and make my gift, and then boom, it loads the thank you screen again right here in the Moodle. We've stripped out some of the things from here that you normally would have in the standalone page, like an invitation to create a donor account, things like that. We want to make it a little simpler here on the thank you screen. So they get the extra thank you from you. They have the details of their gift. Maybe you've got the double the donation turned on, and they can share out on social media. And then once you are done with your gift, they close it. They remain on your site. We think it's pretty simple. I see we got a question here. Can each amount come with an explanation of what the money is used for? Absolutely. No, and it's not distracting. Let's launch this again. Let's go back to this example. Yeah, every level, I put an impact statement here for both monthly and one time. It's not distracting. It's actually something that goes a long way to getting higher gift sizes. If I know that I have a certain impact at $100, well, the impact I'm going to have at 250 is going to be more. So that might pull me up that chain to give a little more. So impact statements are something I really like. I especially like it for monthly giving, because one of the things that you want to do with a monthly giving program is set up, giving tiers, maybe 2 or 3 levels, maybe $25, $35, $100, things that you are promoting that at this level, this is the impact you can make. These are the perks you get at that level. You want that to be reflected on the donation form itself as well. Once you click from, maybe a landing page that's promoting your monthly giving program to the form itself, you want to be able to have that carry forward, that I see, oh, I remember that at $25 a month, I help cover food monitoring and recovery supplies. And even in my examples, I could probably quantify this more. I could probably do more of, at 25, I help, rescue, 5 bats. At the next level, it's 10 bats, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a really nice feature, and it's very easy to turn that on and for a good cause. So absolutely. All right, let's go back. I want to talk about stop sharing, and we want to go back, and I want to talk about when to use each of these. So you've got the 2 options. You'll have the 2 options now. And to me, based on my experience, is if the donor is on your website, then use our buttons, drop those buttons in, and have them use the embedded pop-up donation form. Just go ahead, keep them on your site, let them fill it in there, let them make a gift. They're already on the site. This is really where that is made to be used. Everywhere else, you want to push them to the standalone donation page. If you send out a broadcast email, you're doing an email campaign asking for donations, and you put a donate button in that email, just use the URL that goes to the standalone donation page. You do not want to push that donor to your website to have them find either in the site or on some page, where is the donate button? Where do I click to give? It's one extra click. It's one extra step. You don't need that. If you're sending out a direct mail piece, put a short URL or a QR code, or use the text to donate instructions that you can set up in For a Good Cause to drive the donor directly into the standalone donation page. From anywhere else except your website, drop them straight into the giving process. Make sure that the copy, the images, the language on that page reinforces everything that you've talked about in that email, in that direct mail piece, and all of that. You're dropping them straight in. That's one less click, and you'll get some great conversion rates and all of that. Which again, if you're not familiar with For a Good Cause, you can track your conversion rates, page visits, all of that on every campaign that you have with us, and that will not change. So that we'll still be tracking that kind of stuff with the pop-up modals as well. Another question from John. Is it possible to create a URL that takes them to our organization's website with the donation pop-up already popped up? No, we're not planning on that yet. If I'm happy to take feedback on that, but not yet. That's a great piece of feedback. I'll write that down. Maybe that's something that we can do. But right now it'll be the donate buttons are causing that action of pop in the modal. But John, that's a great piece of feedback, and certainly something that we want feedback on this as we build it, and also after we roll it out. General timeline, we're hoping for end of June. Hoping for the end of June, perhaps. We've still got to work on all the back end stuff, building the button and all that good stuff. So we'll probably start testing hopefully middle of June. And as long as the testing goes well, hopefully late June, early July, we'll be able to roll this out to you. Question from Diana. What does conversion rate mean from one-time to regular donor? Well, conversion rate can be from A to B in lots of scenarios, but in the case of what we're talking about in the stats that I shared here, when we say 27% versus 11%, that means someone is on your website, they click donate, they hit a donation form. Once they hit that form, across the industry, only 11 out of 100 people will actually complete the gift and fill out the form. So your conversion rate is 11%, 11 out of 100. On For a Good Cause, our average is 27%, 27 out of 100. So out of each visitor to your donation form, 17 more people out of 100 are going to actually complete the gift. So what we're doing with conversion rates there is converting the visitor to your donation page to an actual donor, someone who has actually completed the form and made the gift. Does that make sense, Diana? Let me know if it does not. Other questions, other bits of feedback, anything else that you want to hit us with currently, and how you're thinking about this, anything we should be thinking about. Amanda, thanks for dropping that extra link there. We do have a great article on conversion rates and kind of how to calculate that, what they mean. So absolutely, that's perfect. That's right, Amanda. It does have the calculator as well. We hope to have our next office hours sometime in June. If you're following our newsletter, we will be sending out reminders about that good stuff. You'll always get invites to our events if you're on our newsletter. Everybody here will go on our newsletter. So we appreciate you following us. We want your feedback. If there's anything else that you think we need to be working on, we want to hear it. This new feature is coming directly from feedback from our clients. So if there's things that you want us to be thinking about and working on, let us know. Probably in the next office hours, we will go over kind of what we're thinking about for the second half of the year and kind of the direction that we're taking for a good cause for the future. So, and I hope that you'll join us. And we've got some really exciting things that we're working on. I hope that this new feature is going to work well for you. Again, we want your feedback. I just want to thank you for being here. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for our clients that are in here. Appreciate being a part of our family. For everybody else, appreciate what you're doing in your communities. So again, send us any feedback you have, and we'll catch you at the next event.